This episode of TRS is brought to you by Fable 3 and Xbox 360. It's a revolution. Order the game now. Today on TRS, who's the hero now? We go see Megamind and find out.
So today in movies, we're going to talk about a flick that comes out tomorrow.
Oh, flick.
Megamind. So Megamind is the new DreamWorks animation, 3D computer-generated animated film. It's about, here's the deal. Throughout time,
yes,
the battle between
in memoriam.
A superhero and his arch nemesis is something that we've seen over and over and over in comics and then in TV and in movies and all that stuff. But Megamind flips that all on its head as the title character, Megamind, played by Will Ferrell, and his nemesis, Metro Man, played by Brad Pitt, are pitted against each other.
Whoa!
But the protagonist of this movie is Megamind. It is the bad guy. It also stars the voices of Tina Fey and Jonah Hill. Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Big fan of the capes and cowls.
I am indeed. I love superheroics. Like you're saying, the Superman Lex Luthor paradigm, we've seen many analogs of that over the years. I think I talked about on the show a book called Soon I Will Be Invincible, which did a great job of getting inside the head of that character and really grounding that experience. This movie is
being a villain.
Being a villain. And in that
superhero
antagonistic relationship in the superhero world, right? This movie isn't attempting to do that. It's attempting to be funny, and it succeeds at being funny, but it's also really interesting. I think it's a missed opportunity in a certain respect on dealing with that paradigm, because I've always felt that it doesn't make any sense that Superman is the hero and Lex Luthor is the villain for the comic book audience, because Lex Luthor is a guy who's just smart and physically incapable, and Superman's a jock douchebag.
He's a nice guy.
We as comic book readers should be associating ourselves more with Luthor, although it's it's wish fulfillment. And I wish this movie had delved deeper into exploring that, like, why is he the hero, and actually turned Metro Man into a villain, which they don't do. But the movie's funny enough, and the action sequences are spectacular enough, and the CGI is good enough to watch, enjoyable enough, that I had a great time with this film.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the film in and of itself is hysterical. It's a little bit like the movies that are sort of, there's the and then they live happily ever after moments. And it's sort of like the movies that kind of go, okay, well, what happens after that? You know what I mean? Or the stories that are sort of like, well, what happens after that? And this is really that thing. It's like, well, if the bad guy wins, what happens after that? And
you mean like Shrek? Another DreamWorks animated movie?
Like Shrek. Is that about happily ever after?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a tagline, in fact. Tagline takedown.
Tagline takedown. Taken down by Shrek and DreamWorks. But I loved. I mean, it was hysterical. There were moments that I was not looking forward to seeing this movie. There were, the minion, the fact that he kept mispronouncing everything, and
yeah, that's funny. Bit.
Going back to his Sewell house. Amazing. I mean, all that
David
stuff.
Cross, right there.
Shul. Yeah, David Cross is amazing. Tina Fey, actually, I did not care for her performance at all. I was sort of like, I just felt like that the only reason she was in it was because she was Tina Fey, not because she was the best person for that voice role, which I was sort of, I don't know why it took me out so much.
Also, it's kind of weird that every character in the movie only does what they do because of a woman. I mean, because of her.
Yeah.
She's really the thing
catalyst,
around which everything happens.
Yeah.
Every character.
But I have to say...
Such is in life.
Yeah, but I did have to say, very, very funny movie, and I look forward to watching it again and laughing my butt off.
You know what's funny?
This movie?
I didn't think this movie was that funny. I thought most of the laughs...
Neither was that sentence.
I thought most of the laughs were up front, and the opening sequences of the movie, of Megamind, was awesome.
Yeah.
But I still really dug the movie. I feel that you guys have heard me say that a few times about comedies where I like the plot. 50 First Dates is great. I didn't think it was that funny, but I love the story. Yeah. And I think the plot is unfortunately ruined by a lot of the trailers for this.
Don't watch trailers.
And
TM.
Right.
Too much is what TM stands for. Don't watch trailers too much.
But it's a great story. And in addition to that great story, you mentioned the action scenes. It's so every time we see a movie with flying in it, I go 3D, the way to go. Avatar, How to Train Your Dragon, Legend of the Guardians, and this movie, the sequences of flight feel so wonderful in 3D.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up with you guys. Sitting there watching this movie, especially the scenes in 3D with Metro Man hovering above the city, the metropolis, if you will, in 3D, you know,
Metrocity?
Popping out of that city.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I can't wait till Zack Snyder gets his hands on Superman.
Yeah.
And especially with what we saw with the Owls of Ga'Hoole, his ramped. I'm sure it's going to be shot in 3D.
You just blew my mind because
right?
We don't know that, and I hope it's
it will
shot
be. It's totally gonna be.
Yeah.
It's totally gonna be.
Well, the third Batman is officially not going to be.
Yeah, but that's not.
But
his
it's not
deal.
Zack Snyder, and it's not.
Well, Zack Snyder just made a CG movie in 3D. Watchmen is in 3D, and none of his.
Well, isn't
movies
whatchamacallit in 3D too?
Whatchamacallit? Yeah.
The next
Sucker
one.
Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah, I don't know if it was shot in 3D though.
Well, I think a Superman movie with Zack Snyder
in
with
3D.
visual in 3D is gonna be friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's what I kept sitting, like all the flying sequences, like you were saying, are really thrilling.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, but live action?
Yeah.
Maybe.
With an S?
With an M?
I really hope that that he goes to do this like darker version of Superman. You know what I mean? Sort of like what they did with Batman Begins. You know, the sort of like darker, grittier version.
I mean, even that Legend of the Guardians is a little dark, so I don't think we'll get something.
With the teeny pop jazz in the middle.
Well, yeah, but.
I'm a guy.
I was gonna say, what I find
shopping up, kids people.
what I find interesting about these self-referential postmodern superhero films is that they are the kind of superhero movies that we would have seen even before this golden age of superhero movies, comic book movies. Kick-Ass and this movie are the movies that they would have made years ago, and those would have been our superhero movies, as opposed to
because they're ironic and
they're ironic to very general. They aren't citing specific moments that we can recall having now seen a ton of superhero movies.
Got it.
They're just recalling the idea of superhero that we all know of, you know, the general things.
The tropes.
Yeah.
the things that have been around for 50 years.
Exactly.
Right.
It's different than like maybe Powers, the Bendis comic that they're gonna maybe make into TV show eventually or movie. Like those are sort of maybe I think that reference is sort of more specific. Or actually I should take that back because Watchmen does have specific analogs.
True.
But yeah, was less successful. Well, actually, they've all been not very successful. So we'll see how Megamind does. It comes out tomorrow.
I'm excited for Megamind.
I
I'm excited
recommend
for people
it.
to
It's
see
fun.
it. Yeah.
It's a great
really
story.
fun.
It's a smart.
Yeah.
It's a smart adult tale, as with great animation. It's a great adult movie and also works for kids.
Perfect. Love it. Go to school. So remember to stick tuned for the Today in Rad. Jeffrey, sponsor, hit us again.
Oh man, whack, boom,
Whack.
Fable 3 coming at you. One of the biggest video games of the year, just in time for the holidays. Fable 2 was one of our favorite games. Fable 3 takes place 5 decades later in the Industrial Revolution, so
It's awesome.
it's gonna have a whole new flavor. Plus, there's like you become king, which is it's good to be the king. I understand.
But like Megamind, that's not the end of the story.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Merely half the story. It's out now. The revolution has begun.
Check it.
Fable
check it, get it.
3 for your Xbox 360.
Cats and dogs
Booyakasha.
living together.
Amazing.
Mass hysteria.
Also, head over to jinx.com/TRS for shirts. Hopefully yours won't have a little stain on it like mine.
Eventually
it won't come that way.
Let's be honest. Eventually it will.
Don't miss tomorrow's episode where we finally discuss music.
So today is November 4th, and on this day in Rad history, in 2002, Ratchet & Clank was first released on the PlayStation 2. Now it's become Ratchet and Clank.
One of the staple franchises Insomniac
PlayStation
does. Yeah, and it's funny too, there's this game they're doing now, I wish I could remember the title, that is like all of the PlayStation franchises all hanging out together.
Ooh,
Oh, like PlayStation
fun.
Party?
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
Ratchet and Clank and Jax and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's fun.
So it's funny that there are still really mascots, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.